Variety just decided to pair up Rachel Zegler and Halle Bailey for their Actors on Actors series, the two premier race-swapped Disney princesses of 2023. And Halle Bailey has largely put that movie behind her, The Little Mermaid, but Rachel Zegler still has over a year out until her Snow White movie comes out. And this is just the beginning of the PR damage control that she's going to have to do to get people to like her again, or get people to at least tolerate her. And I wouldn't say it's going very well. So they're putting all of these out since the strike is over, and this was probably recorded several months ago for that reason, when the hate train, was, as they call it, was still going on. I saw the headline, Rachel Zegler and Halle Bailey on becoming Disney princesses, singing live on set and blocking out toxic fans. Quote, stay grateful and ignore the hate. And I saw another headline that said, Halle Bailey and Rachel Zegler bond over dealing with trolls. Quote, not worth the time and energy.
At least they
the
didn't call it
actresses
trauma.
reflect on the online harassment they're receiving for their casting as princesses Ariel and Snow White. So they're still milking that toxic fan narrative. And it's just telling that they don't even say in the Variety headline, they don't even say trolls. They actively are calling out fans, right?
Yeah. It's
the fans that are the problem in their mind. And she clearly has learned nothing from this. I also posted a clip of this interview on X so we can see a preview of it. You don't need to sit through the whole 40 minutes to get the picture.
Here we go.
I truly think that any naysayer out there, because there are always people who have something to say.
Yeah, always.
You prove them wrong with grace.
You.
I was so inspired by the way you handled anybody who had anything bad to say about it. You and I have always been, I think, kind defenders of each other online.
Yes.
I think I would be willing to fight a little because that's who I am as a person. But yeah, there's always such chatter around it.
People think that they start taking you away from being a real human being.
Yeah.
So that have feelings and react to things. I'm an Aries, so I'm like, I'm a fire sign.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, because people are like, oh, she's so sweet, she's so nice. But a lot of times when I see stuff online, I get mad and I want to say something, I want to respond, but I'll just be like, no, you know what, it's okay. 'Cause it's hard being
I'm with
women
her.
under the spotlight.
I'm not a
People are
fire
so
sign, though.
critical. And just say anything that they would never say to your face.
No. Choosing thankfulness and
Yes.
gratefulness is choosing peace. And as much as you'd like to remind people verbally that
Yes.
being in the spotlight doesn't absolve you of your humanity, that you're allowed to have human moments,
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily do what you want it to do, and it fuels them more. Choosing to be present and know that they're probably just having a really hard day,
Yes.
and I am putting out a movie.
Amen. That's right.
And I feel so thankful for those moments because it started to make me feel like solid Teflon.
Yes.
That it can't really, that nothing can hurt anymore because
Amen.
they've said the worst that can be said, and you just kind of say, thank you so much for this. I have a lot of love in my life,
Yes.
and I'm very thankful. We get to do our work and have that speak for itself instead. Because we're making things that make people connect with one another. And there are
Flag on the play. What?
people out there who say things that make people want to not come together. That make
Yes.
people want to fight. And,
Yeah.
it's just not worth the time and energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we just stay graceful and ignore the hate.
I actually agree with what she's saying if she just managed to say it in such a not annoying way.
Well, Grateful and Rachel Zegler don't belong in the same sentence together,
Yeah.
obviously, from everything else that she's said about Snow White. And again, it's straw manning the criticism as racism, bigotry, misogyny, when in reality, everyone was just reasonably critiquing the way that she was speaking about a franchise that she had the opportunity to be a part of. Again, it's you're gonna straw man until the cows come home, and I don't believe a word she's saying. And also, this was an interview she did months and months ago, maybe before they prepped her to repair the situation.
Do you believe it'd be why? Because she's you believe she's more pregnant now than she was in this photo?
I mean, Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying, but like that's what gives timeline. I assume that these were shot before.
These were shot before the strike. Okay. Yeah. Halle Bailey, by the way, you said pregnant because Halle Bailey is wearing essentially a bed sheet trying to cover her pregnant belly, which is now larger than it was 4 months ago or whenever this was filmed. So that adds some context for why she's dressed like that. But yeah, the way that it's all worded is like, I'm so above it all. I'm so above the hate and the criticism, when it would just do so much to just come right out and say, like, I worded things wrong. I made comments that I didn't actually mean.
We have no proof that anyone is pregnant. We just assume that Halle Bailey is pregnant because of what she's
If you
wearing.
look at the paparazzi photos, she's looking super pregnant.
Yeah.
So I would say it's safe to guess that Halle Bailey is pregnant. But it would just do wonders if Rachel Zegler either used social media or used an interview to straight up apologize.
I don't think that would work either.
For sounding so hateful. It's not the fans that are being hateful and toxic, it's her. It's like just textbook projection from her that I'm seeing. And it's honestly a big media setup to put these girls together in a room so they can, bond over getting harassed online when they could be talking about their work. They dedicated so much time and attention to these trolls while talking about how little attention they give to the trolls. Yeah.
Whenever these discussions come up, on my better days, I have a more eloquent way of explaining why it's funny that nobody ever complains about these types of things when it's not a character that was traditionally another race, and why it's hard to prove a negative, right? So the best thing you could do would be to go find all the examples of successful Black or Latina actresses or Latino actors where nobody does have these complaints because the role isn't something that people feel like has been swapped for the sake of modern causes. And it's impossible to do that, right? Because you're entering some other space and be like, by the way, I'm glad that this person is cast in this role. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, also, let's not act like all of the criticism was about the race swap. That is a valid part of it. But most of the criticism Rachel Zegler was getting was not about the fact that she is a race-swapped Snow White. It was about her personality, her attitude, and her public comments that she made mainly at the D23 Expo last year. And she's had plenty of time to correct the record on all of those things she said. But she hasn't. And I fully believe that if the strike hadn't lasted so long, and if there wasn't, an embargo on her doing interviews and press for Snow White, then she fully would have been on her TikTok and on her Instagram and Twitter, hitting back at the trolls and making headlines by getting into petty fights with these people. Had she been given permission, she absolutely would have been doing that. Yeah. The strike is a convenient excuse that lets her act like she's freaking Princess Diana. Okay.
You know what she should do? She should blame COVID. There's like a lot of her old comments were like, be like, oh man, I was COVID nuts for a while.
It was in 2022.
I'm thinking back to all the stuff she was saying during like COVID protests and stuff like that. She should blame COVID. Also, Zegler responded and had only positive things to say about the 1937 animated movie. It's almost like she's rewriting history here, folks. Says, quote, "The cartoon is so beloved. It was the first feature-length cartoon movie. It won honorary Oscars, and all of these amazing things that happened for that film are the reason that you and I get to sit here today, because it made Disney what it is," she said. Obviously, that's come with a lot of pressure, and I've put myself much like the Hunger Games. There's a very dedicated audience of people who love Disney cartoons. I'm one of them. Really?
she openly said that she didn't like Snow White when she watched it as a kid.
I guess
so. That
I
doesn't
guess
really
the logic,
follow.
I guess the logic here would be that she likes other Disney cartoons, but not this one in particular. But I guess if that was true, it feels like if you actually did like the other cartoons, you'd go out of your way to defend them, even while you're putting this one down. I could be wrong. Quote, and she continues, "I love everything that the Disney Co. has put out the past 100 years." Again, that's not true.
No one likes everything Disney has put out for the past century.
So you like Song of the South, huh? That's racist.
Not even like, this is like someone pretending to be human. This is a robot or an android pretending to be human.
Yeah.
Was she just told to say these things? It just sounds ridiculous.
I don't know how an apology would work.
Authenticity is impossible for people like this.
Yeah, and I don't think an apology would work at this point anyways, because it's become so prevalent. Also, it'll be interesting to see who they blame for the backlash when the box office comes if it doesn't do well, because I make the point all the time. I say, look, when we watch these movies, when Ezra Miller does all this crazy shit and then everybody's like, it's going to hurt the box office. If me and you go up to the average person on the street and say, are you going to go see the Flash movie? And they say yes or no. And then you say, is it because Ezra Miller is in it? 99 people out of 100 are going to say, who? Most people don't know who these people are. Most
people didn't know who Rachel Zegler was until she started doing press for Snow White. That's a fact. More people knew who Halle Bailey was.
Because she was a Disney kid.
Well, no, because Halle Bailey was in...
With Halle...
Chloe and Halle.
Chloe and Halle. Is it Halle and Chloe or Chloe and Halle?
I think it's Chloe and Halle.
Okay.
Yeah, their music was more relevant than anything Rachel Zegler did prior to Snow White or Hunger Games. And it's also something you cannot pin on racism or misogyny, because the hate that was directed toward the Little Mermaid reboot was hate directed toward Disney as a corporation, not toward Halle Bailey, because everyone could tell that she was a likable girl who took an opportunity as it came to her and was grateful for it, and she didn't say anything to disparage the movie.
And even if she did, it wasn't that people were complaining about. There was the people who were posting the videos.
She said stupid things about how it was so emotional to watch black girls crying when they watched Me as the Little Mermaid. That's, whatever. I can excuse that. But she didn't trash the movie. Right? Like, she didn't come off as bratty, entitled, and anything that Rachel Zegler did. Yeah. So, given that she's a woman and a minority, you would think the trolls are racist and bigoted and misogynistic, but no, they were hating on Disney. They were hating on Disney for recycling old IP, giving low effort, and race swapping to make it trendy. That was the issue. Yeah. Rachel Zegler is the issue with Snow White. Point blank, period. And she also liked a tweet the other day saying, "I can't believe Tom Blythe," this is her co-star from the Hunger Games movie, "is the only celebrity who defended Rachel Zegler publicly during her hate train." And that's because he responded to that hate comment about Rachel Zegler when he promoted Hunger Games, told that person to get a life. White knight move, right? But regardless, why would you expect other people to go out to bat for you when you're not even helping yourself? It just would have been so simple for Rachel Zegler to sit down in this discussion with Halle Bailey and say, yeah, I did see all of this criticism about what I was saying at the D23 Expo. And then when I went back and watched those interviews I did, it did look really bad. And I actually regret saying those things. It would have been as simple as that.
I feel like it got worse after this was filmed.
The hate train, as it's called?
I do.
It probably did, yeah. But it was still pretty loud.
I think the majority of it came after this was filmed.
Yeah, but regardless, the strike is over. She has free reign to promote or talk about whatever she wants on her own platforms or do interviews and correct the record, but she won't do it because that would be letting go of her pride.
I mean, if Disney made her do it, they could. Just like they could.
Well, why don't they? Are they stupid?
Yeah. Yes.
Just give her a script. It's so simple. It's so easy.
It won't work. It'll come off as disingenuous. She's gonna look like a prisoner being held hostage while she makes it. It's not going to work. I think I literally don't even care if she means it. Just say
just give an honest response that you did read the criticism, you went back and you watched those interviews and you say, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said those things. That was a bad idea and I regret it. And I'm sorry for saying that stuff.
Yeah.
Moving on. Easy. I mean, and anyone who has anything to say after that is, you can shut up after that.
It's also very naive to think that people are going to come to your defense when you say something stupid in Hollywood, because
especially other celebrities.
Everyone's out for themselves, and your public image comes first.
Right, exactly.
Everyone knows that, right?
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.